But one of the real gripes I've got in this country, and again I will refer to Holland here. You know, in Holland I could travel for 60 miles by train for about £7. So that's the equivalent from here to pretty much London, actually. I think it was €12, and that was first class. I paid myself, no receipt rate for that. And you know, they've got double-decker trains. You know, if you want to increase capacity on the trains, what do you do? Put another floor on. Hey, you know, it's not rocket science. But we've got bridges that don't. But again, you know, this is where it's great having the vision, but actually the delivery is really, really incredibly hard, because you know, you think about the cost of upgrading every single bridge. I mean, God knows in Swindon we've probably got some bridges that we need upgrading. But you know, £7 to travel 60 miles.
But isn't the problem with the fact that it's private and most of the money that's raised from the railways goes into shareholders? And actually, I don't want to get political, but it was your lot. I'll get the worst thing you lot ever bloody did. That's why we haven't got a railway system that's fit for purpose, as they say.
You're right, I'll get political. You're right, they got it wrong. Okay?
Completely, they destroyed our railway system.
The idea that this country can operate on a disjointed mishmash of operators, and someone else, the government owns the line now, don't they? It's just farcical. You know, if we really wanted to get change going in this country, we would operate the way that not just the likes of Holland, but over all of Europe, lots of Asia, Southeast Asia, parts of Australia, where you have a subsidised public transport. You know, so that's what I thought public transport meant. That, you know, I thought it meant that we were all supporting this infrastructure. If I could travel to London for £7, okay, ignore the sustainability issues and, you know, diesel or electric or whatever, I wouldn't have to think about moving, would I? If I had a job in London, and it takes me an hour to get into London, I wouldn't have to think about moving out of Swindon, would I? Because I could just hop on a train and get to work. And I wouldn't have to drive my car up north, because at the moment it'll cost me £500 to take my family by train to go and see my mother. And it will take me 7 hours.
But Peter, I'll tell you there's one thing. How many, I mean, maybe a question you should ask in your consultation, how many people actually calculate what a car costs them?
I would probably guess about zero.
Yeah, depreciation, then there's the petrol, then there's insurance and everything else. And then if they thought about that and set that money in their mind into paying for better railways, you know, this is why the carrot and stick approach. Tell them, gosh, how expensive that is to live like that. You're living beyond your means having a car, but put that money into something better. You know?
I agree that, you know, in terms of what we can do in education locally, yeah, you know, that's the sort of thing we should be doing. But actually what I'd like us to be able to do is actually feed into the national strategy and actually say, you know, if this government is actually committed to A, not building any more roads, and B, delivering sustainable public transport, actually the only way to do it is to own the whole damn lot. And whether that's you know, God help me, whether that's local bus companies or national rail companies, actually it doesn't really make a difference, because until you have that, you do not have a coherent, joined-up system.
Can I just go to Adam over there? Sorry,
Hi, 3 transport-related questions, feeding on nicely from your how are we selling the whole lot. Swindon Borough Council does own
A bus company.
Yeah. What are you doing for your ownership to encourage the transition to low carbon economies? For example, running the buses on LPG, natural gas, hybrid electric, that kind of stuff.
You've touched on one of my favourite geek subjects, because I'm really passionate about the practical application of sustainable technologies. As one or two of you around the room might know, as we've had discussions about it. I actually wanted to start up a waste oil biodiesel production facility for Swindon Borough Council, because, you know, we've got diggers, we've got all sorts of equipment that could run on this. Oddly, although you can buy, I don't know, for example, a MAN bus in Germany and run it on biodiesel, for some reason you can't run that bus in England on biodiesel because it's not warranted. And bus engines are pretty darn expensive things. And as a company, we just couldn't take the risk of an engine being damaged. We send it back, and they go, "Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah, it might have been E85 compliant or whatever, but I'm sorry, because you went and buy more than 5% biodiesel, you're stuffed. Your warranty's gone." LPG, interesting one. Yes, it can be cleaner. I'm not sure that we can convert the engines that we have to run on LPG. As a council, I've been banging on about the use of LPG. I've been banging on again about biodiesel. Yeah, these things should be done. They're still being talked up. Unfortunately, decisions in local government take about 400 times longer than they should.
There are other green technologies for running engines. It's not just LPG, it's not just biodiesel. There are many other technologies out there.
Yeah, there are, but again, it's doing the cost-benefit analysis and actually what is the practical application.
Yeah, well, there's more and more going on as we speak.
Oh yeah, things will improve, but at the moment they're still not sophisticated enough to be used in this country.
There's a lady down here. Did you have your hand up?
I did,
But it's gone. Okay. Andy?
Coming back to Swindon, well, we were talking about Swindon about the buses then. In the summer, there were quite a few posts available in the Transport Department, Swindon Borough Council.
Still are.
What's the sort of those people that you're hiring, how many have the expertise in the things that you're so passionate about, the sort of shared space, and how many of them actually have expertise in tarmac and bars?
Actually, if I had my way, I mean, as a councillor, I mean, it's great. People think that we as councillors have this fist of God type approach to things, but actually, I'm involved in how we set policy and try and help the officers understand what it is that I want them to deliver. If I had my way, I probably wouldn't be employing transport engineers. I would probably look for people who had a passion and a belief, and then actually pay someone else to do the design.
So who have you been hiring? I mean, I'm just concerned that
without going into too much, we still have a number of vacancies.
Well, we support that, so if you can't do it, and you know,
we're the no-cost option for you.
Because we're the voters, and we want that, so we want
there are all sorts of liability issues and all this sort of stuff, but it's something that I think we can take offline with Rod and work out further. Because if I can tap into community resource, I will do. Because I might not be around in 4 years' time. I don't mean physically, but well, you never know. But ultimately,
don't worry, I'll get you on a bike.
but ultimately, Swindon isn't here for me, the politician, or Rob, the politician. Swindon is here for Swindon, the people of Swindon. You own the town. We're just temporarily put in charge. But at the end of the day, it reverts back to you. When I'm no longer in charge of transport, you guys are the ones who should be shaping and driving forward the policies. And there's a lot of people say that politicians don't want to engage with the public. Actually, I wouldn't be here if I couldn't or didn't want to engage with the public. But you guys are actually the ones who should be helping drive forward the strategies. And we're not always going to agree. And I hope that at times we can agree to disagree. Sometimes we'll disagree to disagree, but that's a different matter. And we are going to have a very lumpy ride going forward in the future because people don't want change, and change can be very expensive. And we have to look at how we phase things and what changes we bring in. And we need to work on actually public opinion, because not everyone's going to be happy about not being able to take their kids to school, for example. Not everyone's going to be happy about having a bicycle priority going across a certain route. So we need to manage how the messages are delivered and the messages are understood. Because, as a council, I think we're pretty, there you are, those are the recycling units. As a council, I think we actually need to do a lot of work on our communications. I think, how we communicate to you needs to be worked on a lot more.
Could we do?
Sorry, no, please interrupt.
It'd be great to wrap up by 9 o'clock.